There's something you do every single day. You don't see it. You don't talk about it. And yet, it's stealing your energy, your peace, and even your will to keep going. It's that constant pressure to be in control of everything. The belief that if you don't take care of it, everything will fall apart. That if you're not managing it, chaos will take over. That if you don't act, fix, supervise, the world will collapse. And little by little, without noticing, you're not living anymore. You're surviving in a constant state of alert. You try to control how others feel, what they think of you, what hasn't happened yet, and what can't even be predicted. But here's what no one ever told you. Control is the most elegant way to surrender to fear, disguised as strength. Today we're going to talk about what you carry in silence, about that invisible trap that seems to protect you, but is breaking you from the inside, and about the most powerful decision you can make to free yourself without anyone knowing. Because here's a truth no one taught you, and I'll show it to you in this video. Letting go of control is not giving up. It's finally starting to live. This isn't self-help. This is deep transformation. Welcome to the Napoleon Hill Code. Since we were kids, we were taught to stay in control. Control what we feel. Control what we show. Control what we think, what we do, what others do. Control it all, as if life were a mathematical formula. We grew up believing that being in control meant being strong, that the more we controlled, the safer we'd be. But no one explained this. The more you try to control, the further you move away from your true power. Because control isn't a sign of strength, it's a response to fear. You control because you're afraid of losing something. You control because you don't know what will happen if you let go. You control because someone once told you that if you stop controlling, something bad will happen. But what actually happens is this: your peace shatters. You live with anxiety. You tense up over things that haven't even happened. You get frustrated over what you can't change. And your soul gets tired. The problem isn't that you're a controlling person. The problem is no one ever taught you the difference between what you can influence and what you simply have to let flow. Some things are in your hands, others are not. And if you don't learn to recognize that invisible boundary, you'll end up frustrated, drained, carrying more than you were ever meant to. But the most dangerous part is this: control is invisible. No one tells you you're falling into the trap. No one warns you that you're wearing yourself out. And since it all happens silently inside, no one notices. You keep pretending you're fine, while deep inside, you're asking yourself why you're so tired when you haven't done anything wrong. Control doesn't protect you. Control imprisons you. Today we're going to learn how to recognize the trap, and more importantly, how to get out of it. Have you realized how exhausting it is to try to control everything? How tense it makes you feel when things don't go the way you think they should? Here's the truth: absolute control doesn't exist, but the illusion of control does. We think that if we plan everything, prevent everything, anticipate everything, then everything will go well. But life doesn't respond to formulas. It responds to energy. And the energy that comes from fear of disorder ends up creating more disorder. Real control, the only one you truly have, is over your attitude, your thoughts, your decisions, your reactions. Everything else lives in a realm that does not belong to you. You can't control if someone loves you. You can't control if everything turns out the way you expected. You can't control what hasn't happened yet. And yet, you try. You plan. You worry. You get frustrated when things don't obey your mental equations. But this isn't about controlling. It's about consciously influencing and letting go of what's beyond your reach. There's a subtle but powerful difference between influence and control. To influence is to act from your best self and let life respond. To control is to force the outcome to avoid feeling fear. See the difference? When you confuse the two, you live in chronic tension. You believe everything depends on you, and that is soul-depleting. You didn't come here to control the universe. You came to vibrate in harmony with it. As the metaphor says, you can't direct the wind, but you can adjust your sails. Today we let go of the illusion, because trying to control the uncontrollable is like chasing a mirage. Just when you think you've reached it, it vanishes, leaving you more exhausted than before. Control has many masks, many silent forms that seem harmless, but steal life from the inside. Today, I'll show you the 3 most common and destructive ways you sabotage yourself through unconscious control. 1. External control. This one's obvious. It's the urge to manage what others do, say, or decide. Trying to control your partner, your kids, your friends, your environment. You correct how they speak. You get annoyed by how they act. You constantly share opinions about how things should be done. And you justify it by saying, "I just want the best for them." But underneath that is fear disguised as care. The fear that if you don't step in, things will spiral. The result: constant frustration, unnecessary arguments, and tense relationships. Because the more you try to control the outer world, the more chaos you create within. 2. Internal control. This one's quieter and often more painful. It's the fight against your own emotions. You repress, you judge yourself, you punish yourself for feeling. You say things like, "I shouldn't feel sad. I can't be afraid. I don't have time to feel this now." You become your own emotional jailer. Instead of allowing yourself to feel, you force yourself to operate like a machine. But emotions don't disappear when ignored. They just build up and eventually explode in unexpected ways. 3. Control of the future. This is the most exhausting of all. It's that compulsive need to anticipate everything, to plan every detail, to have all the answers before the questions arrive. You imagine every scenario. You focus on what could go wrong. You try to prevent what hasn't even happened. And in doing so, you miss the only moment where you actually have power: the present. This kind of control is born from the fear of the unknown. And ironically, the more you try to control the future, the more anxiety you create. Each of these control styles has a cost. External control distances you from others. Internal control disconnects you from yourself. Future control steals the life you could be living right now. But here's what matters. You don't do this because you're weak. You do it because you learned control equals survival. Today, you'll learn something different. You can live without controlling everything. Control gives you the illusion of safety. But that illusion comes at a cost. Your peace, your energy, your creativity, your emotional well-being, your faith. And you do it without realizing. Because no one told you that control is just another way of being at war with reality. Your mind stays constantly active, thinking, predicting, worrying, evaluating. There's no rest. Your nervous system doesn't know you're safe, because your thoughts keep signaling threat. And that exhausts you. No wonder you feel tired all the time. It's not just stress. It's your body begging for a break from all the what-ifs. When you're busy controlling, you don't feel deeply. You don't leave room for spontaneity. You block the divine. There's no space for creativity to flow. Creativity needs openness, stillness, surrender. But control lives in fear, rigidity, and tightness. It's not that you've lost inspiration. It's that you've blocked it with the need for control. The price you pay for control is invisible. No one sees it from the outside. You keep functioning. You keep going. But inside, you're shutting down. And if you don't break this cycle, one day you'll stop and ask, when did I lose myself? That moment can still be avoided. And this is where the change begins. Listen carefully. This could change everything. The more you let go, the more power you have. Yes, I know. It goes against everything you were taught. They told you to push, plan, dominate. But reality is wiser than that. Nature doesn't control. It flows. The river doesn't fight the rocks. It goes around them. And over time, it transforms them. Same with you. When you stop resisting, you begin to flow. And when you flow, life starts organizing itself. This isn't magic. It's a deep spiritual law. When you release what you can't control, you align with what you can create. Letting go is not weakness. Letting go is faith. It's saying to life, I trust what's coming, even if I can't see it yet. And that's when the miracle happens. When you stop obsessing over outcomes, your energy becomes clean, your mind opens, your intuition activates, and you start seeing what you couldn't see before. The people who are truly at peace, they don't have control over everything. They've just learned how to surrender. But not passive surrender, conscious surrender. Not defeat, divine strategy. Not weakness, but freedom. And you can choose to live that way. Not when everything is okay, but now, right where you are, with what you have. Because your real power is not in controlling more. It's in letting go better. To accept doesn't mean to give up. Acceptance is the highest act of someone who has understood how reality works. You're not saying, I like this. You're saying, I see what is. I act from clarity, not resistance. What you resist persists. What you accept begins to transform. Acceptance is not about giving up. It's about responding instead of reacting. Think of a surfer. Do they get mad at the wave? Number. They observe. They measure. They decide how to ride it. Life is the same. The waves will come. But you choose. Fight them. Or ride them. Control drains you. Letting go sets you free. But this is not just about understanding it. It's about practicing it. Here are 5 powerful tools to start letting go of control consciously. 1. Reframing breath. When anxiety rises, pause. Take 3 deep breaths. 1. Acknowledge what you're trying to control. 2. Ask if it's really under your influence. 3. Mentally release it and return to center. 2. Observer's perspective. Imagine your life from above, like a movie director. Watch the scene without judgment. Ask, what can I learn here? What would someone at peace do in this moment? 3. Power question. When trying to control, change the question. Instead of, how do I make this go my way? Ask, what can I create with what I have now? 4. Release ritual. Before sleeping, write what you can't control. Then burn it, tear it, or release it mentally. Visualize giving it to God, the universe, infinite intelligence. 5. The next most obvious step. When overwhelmed, don't overthink the whole plan. Just ask, what's the simplest next step I can take? Clarity comes through movement. These tools work, but only if you use them. Letting go is not an event, it's a practice. And every time you practice, you're rewiring your mind for peace. So now, don't leave me a pretty quote in the comments. Don't say great video. Make a decision. Because if you've made it this far, it wasn't an accident. Something inside you is ready to stop fighting and start letting go. Don't try to change everything. Just choose one thing, something you've been trying to control, that no longer feels sustainable. Maybe it's a person, a situation, a decision that isn't yours, an answer that hasn't come. Whatever it is, do this. Pause, breathe, and ask, what if I simply let it go? Maybe nothing changes outside right away, but something will shift inside. And that inner shift can move more than 1,000 efforts to force reality. Remember, control is born from fear. Flow is born from trust. And you weren't created to live in fear. You were created to create in trust. Today, take the first step. Silent, internal, powerful, and begin to live differently.